Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Nahal. I'm the founder of Yoga Avec Moi. Today I am going to read somebody's human design chart via the interweb. Just so you see how I read it sometimes. This is usually one of the first things I do when you're doing a private session with me. The person who I am doing it for is in a country that I am not able to have direct communication with them. So I must find creative ways in which to communicate, and creating a video for them that they can watch on a public platform is the only way I can communicate this information. So via a third party, I have their information, and now I'm going to share it. But normally what this would happen is, how this would happen is like we would be in a private session, and one of the first things we would do is like a human design reading, which I think is like absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to show you the human design chart, and then we will go from there. So I actually don't even know what this person is when it comes to their actual human design, but because I know some of the basic categories of like what a human design reading is, I can kind of guess, and this person might need to like confirm again what it is. So because this person has the throat chakra defined and the solar plexus defined, my guess is that you are a manifesting generator, which is going to be the title of this video. Later on, please confirm with me whether or not this is true. So yeah, usually when I tell people to do a human design reading, and for those who are watching this video, I would actually like you to go and get your human design. So as I'm reading this for someone else, you can actually see similarities of things that are in your chart. So I want you to pause this video, look in the description below. This chart was taken freely off of thebodygraph.com, which I will link down below. My preference is geneticmatrix.com. I really like that website. That shows like a lot of information on the first go. This person, I guess, was not able to like check it. So this is what it is. But the body graph is amazing as well. So if you're watching this video, pause it now. Go take it. You basically need your birth time, your location, and your name to like identify the chart, and then it'll be able to like spit something out like this, so that for the next coming while, as we're talking about it together, you can like shrink this video a little bit and have your chart out, so as I'm speaking you can like refer to it. Okay, so welcome back. All right, so this chart, it's a guess. It's an educated guess that they are a manifesting generator. And the things that make a generator, so there's 5 types of the human design. There are generator, manifesting generator, which is kind of like a hybrid between a manifester and a generator. It's like a hybrid manifesting generator. So there's generator, manifesting generator, manifester, projector, and reflectors. So basically, the majority of the type of the world, people who have these types are like either a generator or a manifesting generator. The last 3, a manifester, a projector, or a reflector, they all are the rarity. Together, they make about like 40% of the population. And this is like more like 60, or maybe this is like 30 even. And this is like 70, okay? So the majority of people should have like either a generator or manifesting generator. And the major difference between the manifesting generator and the generator to the other 3 human designs is literally this red square on the 2nd chakra, which is the sacral chakra. Under the human design, it's like basically a system of knowledge that combines like the yogic chakra system, the Kabbalah, the I Ching, the Chinese I Ching, the astrological systems, as you can see on the left and the right, mathematics, physics, and quantum physics as well. So it's like so many things kind of like combined into one. So in the traditional chakra system, We have it all along the spines, but you'll see in the human design, it kind of like comes out into different pockets, and I'll kind of like explain how they're related. But basically the second chakra, which is usually the energetic engine, is like people who have their solar plexuses defined, they have like a lot of sustained energy. If you're a manifester, if you're a projector, or if you're a reflector, this block right here, hopefully you can see my mouse, but it's looking from the bottom to the top, it's the red square would be white. Okay, so the difference in a human design chart, if you have white or defined will be you'll have a color on it, and white will be that it's basically you have like an open center, right? And basically the difference between having a closed center and an open center is really that if you have a defined center, it's usually things that you naturally have as like strengths in your life, and the white ones are things that you learn and grow from in this life as you experience it. So the second chakra is not going to be your learning about energy and or how to build energy. You already are gifted, well endowed with energetics. Okay. So, and one other thing about like the white centers, they're kind of like described as screens, as like you always have to test and feel in that center how things feel, and then kind of like allow it to like pass through you to see, all right, do I feel this way? Do I like it like this? Whereas the other energetic centers that are defined, you can kind of rely on them more systematically to be like, all right, I have the information that I need to like get me through it. And just actually, for those who do not know what the human design is, it's basically an energetic chart map of your body. It is basically showing you like how the structure of your car is. And once you know the structure of your car is, how you drive it, what kind of oil you put into it, that's like all up to you, right? And where you decide to go with that car is all up to you. But it's basically the energetic map of your body to show you how you naturally tick. Okay, so this is not to say like some people are good, other people are bad. It's just your natural human design. You will have different strengths and different tendencies, specifically when it comes to energetics and just tendencies in general. Okay, so here, let's go on the bottom where it's like defined as brown. Okay, this is the root chakra. And the root chakra is all in yogic terminologies. It is about money, survival, and family. Okay, so this seems to be a center in which you're like really, it's like one of your like center points. Because you can see there's black lines, red lines, and lines together, and there's several of the gates, basically those branches. These are all gates. And I will also link down below what each of the gates means in depth. We will not be going through it in the video, but you can what I usually like to tell people to do is to go through all of their gates and see which one's highlighted, make a list of the ones that are black, make a list of the ones that are red, and then make a list of the ones that are red and black together, okay? Because those ones usually you have to, it's a major theme in your life. So the black ones are basically things of the body, things that are like very manifest. It might be just like right now in this world, it's straight up in your life. The red ones are more like the hidden things or the things of the mind that are like things that you're eventually going to learn, or things that you've experienced, or experience has kind of like shown them to you in a sense. The ones that are both black and red, it's like you have them and there's more to experience with them. Okay, so your root chakra system is pretty well defined. If you have an empty like a white root chakra, which mine is empty, if you're around people with defined center like this, you might actually feel like ungrounded, and like you always have to kind of like walk on the earth to kind of just feel settled. You might deal with more anxiety, like just like things of the upper head sort of situations, because you're not like settled. right? So to like ground yourself, to walk, to go like walk on the earth, to really just pull the energy down is going to be one of the most important things. So the beauty of knowing this chart and knowing what you like. One of the things you talk to me about is that you want to work in a farm and work with soil. So the root you have very much here also just confirmed in your chart that this is something that is within you. And usually I find the ones that have the red and the black are usually almost like systems where you need to work, like your actual work in your life, you need to choose it to be in this thing. So I would definitely ask you to look at gate number 38 and gate number 60 and 3 to see what those things are and pay particular attention to it, especially like 38. Okay, you can let me know later. So I don't have all of the gates like memorized or things like that. So basically we have the roots, we have the solar plexus, these two we talked about. It's like the squares, the bottom two squares. Now we're going to go to the left. Homegirl, I'm so excited about this because this center is the spleen center, and usually people who have undefined centers and all the gates are open, this is usually the sign of a healer. And this is usually, the spleen is usually the fear center. The fear center is the center where you kind of like taste fear in and then kind of like see what happens, right? Because your center, not only your center is open, but all the gates are open. It's like you have a lot of room to feel fear, to sense fear, and not only your fear, but to feel other people's fear. So any center that is open, we are prone or receptive to our external environments and what comes around. I had a client that his spleen center was defined and all of his gates were defined too. So I've like never seen a chart like this before, right? So he has very legitimate fears and fears that are very accurate. For you, I would say yours are not, your fears would not be your fears. They're mostly probably of fears of other people around you that you're sensing and tasting. And what's important for you to note is like when you have that center being open, is that you need to kind of like almost like bring it to your mouth, taste it. Actually, one of the things you will see your cognition. It will tell you, is your cognition work with tasting it? Does it work with touch? Does it work with smell? Mine is definitely like smell. Like when I smell things, I can smell like jealousy. I can smell fear. I can smell anger. Like it's literally like an odor that comes off of people. But like basically when it comes to tasting or just like kind of sensing it, feel it to see how this fear, any fear that you're feeling, feels in your body. And really question to see, is this mine or is this someone else's? And if it is someone else's, I can relax and not feel it. Sometimes you might feel still some pressure, some sensation, some constriction and whatnot, but it will kind of like subside, or at least you're aware of it, that you're like, oh, this is someone else's fear. I'm going to feel temporary tightness here for a little bit and it will go away eventually, right? So that's that. Congratulations. That's a good one. That's one of my favorite ones. So you're meant to do some healing work with this. And because all of it is open, you actually have a wide variety of ways to go about your healing. So it's not just structured to doing something with soil or doing something with groundedness. But since literally the contrast between the two on your charts is that you're so, that earthliness, that root chakra is so like defined, that maybe that's a clue to do that. Maybe that will be like a way in which you'll feel the most comfortable to express your design in this world. But this is what the human design is. We don't talk about something like very specific, like you need to become a farmer or something like that. This is just the tendencies that if you were to work your healing work in terms of the soil and earth and groundedness and family and money and survival, all of those things are included, you would probably derive the most joy from it. Okay, so moving from to the other triangle, and if this was defined, I believe the color is pink. Pink, yes. both the colors on the triangles, left and right triangles, are, sorry, the right triangle actually moving here, the emotional one, is brown when it's lit up, and the spleen is pink. So the emotional center, yours is undefined, which means that you don't have like an emotional structural way of how, like, you don't have waves in your emotions. You wake up, if there's something upsetting you, you will feel upset. Either will be yours or it will be someone else's. Again, this whole screen situation. In contrast, mine is defined, and for other people's whose are also defined, you might have cycles of emotional waves that literally you'll wake up one day, you'll have an emotion and you don't know why, and literally nothing else has happened to you. You just kind of have to ride the emotion. The beauty of having a defined emotional center, which you might be like, I'm sorry, did you mistakenly say that? Like, the beauty of it is that actually when you have like an entire cycle of emotional waves that you have to ride through, you get a very clear and holistic picture of the different angles of a situation. So you become very crystal clear about what to do in a situation. It's almost like if there's like a flower and you were to take a picture of it from this angle, and then the next day would be a picture from this angle and this angle, this, and by the end of the cycle, you have a picture from each of the angles of this flower. You have a very clear picture of what this flower looks like, right? Whereas people who have undefined emotional centers like this, you might just like in the moment have a feeling about something and you just have to kind of go with that. When it comes to defined emotional centers, you kind of have to ride the waves. And usually it says you have to wait like a full moon cycle, which is 28 days, to get like a full picture of something. So when it comes to decisions, take your time, be slow so that you can see the full grand view of the entirety of what you want to decide on. Okay. So then you have the ego center, which is this triangle over here. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's pink. Oh, actually, the other thing that I have to say, it depends on if you're doing this on geneticmatrix.com, the colors might be slightly different. Actually, on geneticmatrix.com, I think the ego center is pink. So the ego center is not what it sounds like, which usually people think it's like the ego. It's not that. It's more to do with like your confidence. So yours is defined, which is a rarity in like the proportion of human designs. Usually only 30% of the people have like a defined ego center, which is basically you don't experience a lot of doubt. Your doubt is like, you usually feel a lot of confidence in yourself and doubt. Whereas people who have an undefined center, they might experience like waves that like sometimes they believe in themselves, other times they don't, and all these things. So the beauty of having this is that usually if you start something, you'll know, you're like, I'm good. I feel confident, like I can do this. And like you kind of ride the wave and you move through it, right? The G center, which is the heart chakra, also, this is usually our defined center of how we relate to the world. Yours is defined, you have a kind of consistent pattern of like relating to the world, okay? And so there's one gate here that I really want to note here that is usually important in relationships. And that is the 15 gate and the 5 gate. Usually the 5 gate is about people who are very structured and very logical, and they need to do things in like a timely manner. People who have the 15th gate, this is the gate of spontaneity. So your gate is defined, meaning that you need spontaneity in your life to like thrive, basically. Too much structure, too much rigidity doesn't work for you. Whereas I know I've done a reading for your family member, they actually have the gate 5. And so if you think back of your childhood, they were probably the ones that would make sure that everyone in the house kind of leaves the house and gets out of the house and like kind of like be like, chop chop, like we need to go, right? And you're just like, yeah, let's just see whatever, like, you know, like you're just kind of like more relaxed and not so stressed out about the whole situation. Or you might be the person that in the family that actually starts to be like, let's go do something fun, and then you get everyone galvanized to like go out of the house and do something fun. So all of the spontaneous events like were probably organized by you. So usually conflict in a family happens with these 2 gates. it's usually amazing to have like polar opposites. So like a gate 5 and gate 15, like, you know, you have the balance of like having structure and having spontaneity. But it can also create a lot of conflict. It's usually like people need to be on a schedule, and like, you know, the others is like, no, I need freedom and like spontaneity and not rigidity. So it's a good balance, but it's usually the aspect in a relationship dynamic that causes the most trouble. Moving up to the throat chakra, which is the defined center. So here is another area where you have also a lot of gates like defined. So I'm going to say that the throat chakra, the region, your voice, which I know you're also a singer, so this is lovely, that you use your voice, not only in melodious ways, but also your speech. What you have to say is going to be important in this life. People are going to literally hear what you have to say. And then the fact that your throat chakra and your root chakra, both of these things are defined and have so many gates, to me, that shows that like this is your major life path. You need to talk about the root. You need to talk about the family, the money, the survival, all of these things. It's going to be one of the things that's going to like focus on your path. So in your chart, you naturally have something that you already knew. I'm just like confirming something that you did. So, and people without a defined throat chakra, it'll be white. And usually when they speak, it's almost like as if they're yelling. Like they don't have like firmness in how they speak, or they might be like they might feel like they're speaking but they can't be heard, or like they're always like yelling. There's several people that if you think of famous people that have this characteristics where you're like, you're always yelling, like you need to calm down, right? It's usually where the throat chakra is like not defined. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be speaking, as all of us need to speak and like communicate and like express ourselves. It just might not be one of your major things in this life. So moving up, you have the Ajna center, which is the third eye center. And people usually who have defined centers in the genetic matrix version, this will be purple. You have a really good memory and your discernment is really good. So it's like you have a very definite way of remembering things. You're like, you can think of numbers, you can memorize numbers well, information well. And if someone has an undefined center, it's usually there might be a little bit of confusion. They might not be so good at memorizing, or just their memory just might be great to begin with. And these are things that they have to like work on, right? So your last center, your crown chakra, is undefined. So meaning that like this is the center where we connect with the divine. So if your center with the divine is not defined, it may mean that you have like some doubts. Like you might have a picked religion, or you might not, or you might just be like, I need to sample a lot of different types of religions so that I can feel, to taste and to see like whether or not I like it, or like I want to like kind of gather a lot of different spiritual knowledge in my mind. And there's a sense of openness to this, right? If you have a defined chakra, crown chakra, it's usually like you feel very stable in your faith, in your spirituality, in your things. You might have a specific religion, you might not, but you're just like, whatever it is that I believe, I feel very strongly about it. So none of these things are like either good or bad. It's just like, if you know that this is like an open center, explore it, explore the options, know that this is something of your life's journey. And if it's like something that you go into doubt, it just means you need to explore a lot more different types of information in order for you to come to that certainty. Okay. So that is the human design chart reading for this person. I will leave in the comments below whenever I have the information of what this person's chart is, but I'm pretty sure they're a manifesting generator. If you can give me your profile of which of the lines you have, which is like a 1 to a 6 number, everyone else in this video can also check it out. Maybe in a later video, I'll talk more about it. But those are things, your profile is like how you're like more like guided in this life. Like what is your major purpose, how you can go about like doing things. I found it super interesting to know my human design. I was one of the types that have a low energy type So that was really important for me to know in how I dish out my energy, or like how I like give my energy to other people. It's like I don't really have a lot to give, so it's like I need to be more selective of who I share it with. And like if it's not being reciprocated, or if it's not being appreciated or cherished, then it's like I don't even have a lot of energy to give. So it's like you need to like pick and choose like who you share that energy with, right? So for the ones who have solar plexuses that are undefined, definitely look into it, because you are not the majority of the population, which means that you don't have a lot of reflections of other people that are like you in this world, which means you have to like try a little bit harder to go find information about how you tick, how you work, and to make sure that you're working and kind of guiding yourself in a way that you feel good. So there was a point in my career where I was like, I know I'm doing what I love to do. I'm passionate, but I'm like tired and exhausted. And I'm like, and I found out that I wasn't working the way I needed to work. And that was like a huge thing. Like I would push myself overboard, or I would do a lot more than I needed to do. And I didn't give myself a lot of rest. But as soon as I flipped it, then I was like, oh, okay, this is how it feels. Like when you do something that you love and do it in a way that's energetically feels good, you know? So this is all about the energetics of like what feels good to you? Like what do you prefer? It's not that you can't do the other way. It's just that that doesn't feel good. Like you could do it temporarily, like very briefly, but the majority of the time you need to know like how you tick, because you're going to exhaust yourself, and you're going to, especially the manifestors, the projectors, or the reflectors, you really need to watch out for your energy and like be very selective who you share this energy with and all these things. That's the major big difference if you're new to human design, is to know that that's something that you have. But since this is a manifesting generator, like you know you're good with your energetics, so that's like not your weakness, so you don't have to worry about that. I will end this video here. I hope you liked it. If you did, like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Leave a comment of what you are. I would love to know what you are. Like once you've done the exercise, please let me know in the comments below what your type is and what profile you have. I would really like to know these information. So it's like mine is like a manifester. I'm a 6'2" hermit role model manifester. So that's like my name for it. If you look on the geneticmatrix.com, that hermit role model name will come out. I'm pretty sure it will be there for the body graph one as well. Do leave it in the comment section. I would love to hear. And if you would like some support with me, do think about coming to the membership portal. I support people through their human design to learn more about it themselves, but also just kind of give them more energetic tips and tricks of like how to sleep, of how to dish out your energy, what kind of careers would be more suited to you, especially if you're in a new career and you want to find something that you're more driven to, or find more purposeful. All these things like would be excellent to know. So yeah, I will leave it here, and where you can book a session with me if you would like to do that. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.